Vice President Harris was clearly well prepared, practiced on the offensive much of the night. Former President Trump did take a lot of the bait that she threw out.
She did so well, and Trump did so poorly that they want to do that all over again.
I can't get behind somebody who maybe I agree with certain policies on, but their character is atrocious and lacks complete leadership.
She conveyed the calm. She conveyed a preparation.
Vice President Harris clearly won the debate in terms of her delivery, her polish, and her preparation.
The moment of the debate, if there was one, I think, was when she baited him on the rallies.
People saw, oh, actually, she's an intelligent, capable person who has a point of view on issues, and she demonstrated that time and again.
She was composed. She was prepared. She kept her cool. She saw advantages. She took them.
Donald Trump looked old tonight.
Yeah. This is the difference between someone who's well prepared and someone who's unprepared. Whoever did debate prep for Donald Trump should be fired.
Truly a difficult night.
And now we put on our somber voice with a heart full of, shall we say, candy floss. We bring you the breaking news, the demise of one Donald J. Shitsy Pantsy, former guy's career is imminent. Yes, the signs are there for everybody to see. The cracks have arrived. His career is over. The last remnants of it have been his political career, being bisected by Jesse Waters, Hannity, Calamity, Insanity, Laura Ingraham, and as many lies as you can find on Newsmax and Blue Tick Twitter. But that's it. Donald Trump's career has been, how should we say, J.D. Vanced away. We thank J.D. Vance for his contribution for ending one of the worst ever contributions to political history we can think of.
At the very beginning, Kamala Harris promised to unpack and explain all of the policy positions that she's changed on, and then she proceeded to explain none of them. President Trump was assaulted with all kinds of lies and misinformation, and he's trying to deal with that at the same time get his points across. And I think he did a good job of turning back and trying to let the American people see that policies under his administration made their lives better off. If you think about it, the economy was growing at almost twice the rate of any other major economy in the world after he took office. If you think about what's happening right now, our economy is in a very bad place. Americans are hurting under President Trump. Every American was doing better. Their real wages went up. Blue-collar workers more than white-collar workers. Today, workers are hurting. Real wages are down.
Harris does have her fair share of policy reversals, but isn't it Trump's job to bring that up, to push her on that while he's on the debate stage with her?
Well, he certainly attempted to do that last night, but he was doing that in the face of moderators that were fact-checking him right, left, and center and never fact-checking her.
One of the fact checks, though, had to be about the Haitian immigrants. Do you believe that he should not have waded into that, given officials in that city say there's no evidence of it?
Well, you talk about evidence. I've heard conflicting reports. There's conflicting evidence. There's a lot of information on the internet that this is happening. But here's the real problem.
Yeah, but no real credible evidence.
Here's the credible evidence. In Springfield, Ohio, the governor is sending in state troopers and millions of dollars to deal with a problem that's happening across America. I mean, the question is, have you been into an emergency room lately? Have you tried to find a teacher that can teach English as a second language in a school? We have these problems in my home state of Tennessee thanks to this flow of over 10 million illegal migrants that have flooded this country under Border Czar Kamala Harris's watch.
Well, and it's a fair point in the sense of we've heard from city officials who say school systems are being overwhelmed, hospitals are being overwhelmed. We have not heard from one city official who said that Haitian immigrants are abducting pets or doing that. And, you know, I was thinking...
City officials aren't the only source. There are plenty of people who are saying this is happening. So I think it just needs to be verified. But the real point here is that
immigrants... multiple people there, the police commissioner, people there who've said that there's just no evidence of it. But
immigrants have collapsed that city. Why is the governor sending state troopers in and millions of dollars?
Well, he's complaining that the federal government, Congress, is not doing more to help them in this need and sending in that money. But I do want to ask you about something because...
I would just take one extra point on that because the answer isn't the Congress right here. The answer is the executive branch. The Biden administration came in when Kamala Harris's borders are in the first 100 days, issued 94 executive orders, tearing down the most secure border that we had under President Trump. That, in fact, brought this flow of illegal migrants that is causing the problem in Springfield, Ohio, and in my home state.
Right.
As well.
I think immigration is a fair point, but I think a false claim is what people had an issue with. But I want to ask you about something, because when Trump got off his plane in Philadelphia last night, I was watching who was getting off with him. And Laura Loomer was one of the people. I don't know if you know who she is.
I don't.
She's a far-right activist on Twitter. She's a self-described Islamophobe. She said a lot of horrible things. And today she was with Donald Trump at the 9/11 memorial in New York City. She is someone who has claimed 9/11 was an inside job, which obviously it was not. But is that someone that you want the Republican candidate surrounding himself with?
Look, I don't know who the person is that you're talking about, but I would say that 9/11 was a travesty. It's amazing to me that we aren't spending more time focusing on the, quote, root cause of what's happening with terrorism around the world. I mean, we've got a terrible situation going on in the Middle East right now. It's because of Iran. And we have an administration, Vice President Harris wouldn't even mention Iran last night. But Iran is the root cause of all the instability in the Middle East. President Trump dealt with that. He put maximum pressure on Iran, and that enabled him to move the embassy from Tel Aviv to Jerusalem to implement the Abraham Accords. What we saw is peace breaking out in the Middle East. Now that Biden comes in, Harris comes in, Iran is now flooded with cash, and they're causing terrorism throughout the Middle East.
But my question is, does someone who has spread 9/11 conspiracies and claimed that Islam is a cancer and celebrated the deaths of migrants, does she belong at the 9/11 memorial or on the plane with Donald Trump?
Yeah, we have freedom of speech in America. And again, I don't know this person's positions, but I will tell you, we need to get at the root cause of terrorism. And Iran is the biggest sponsor of terror in the world. Harris and Biden have allowed them to have funds like they never had before, hundreds of billions of dollars. In the Trump administration, where I served, we shut off the funding to Iran. And guess what happened? We saw peace and stability break out in the Middle East. Hamas, Hezbollah, the Houthis were broke. We weren't seeing what we see right now. The Biden administration comes in, fails to enforce sanctions, and this is exactly what happens. Go back to Afghanistan. The instability that we're seeing in Ukraine is a direct cause of that terrible decision made by Harris
But
and
the
Biden.
Biden administration didn't change the a lot of those sanctions that Trump put in place after he left the nuclear deal.
They just don't enforce them. That's the difference.
We've got to leave it there. Senator Bill Howard.
This Haitian story, which J.D. Vance and Trump have been just spinning in the most nastiest, xenophobic, obnoxious way. Well, it's taken a really interesting turn. Here's a father who is grieving, and the fact that he's been exploited for political gain is... Have a listen.
In Springfield, they're eating the dogs, the people that came in. They're eating the cats. They're eating the pets of the people that live there. And this is what's happening in our country.
Trump's repeated falsehood about Haitian immigrants in Springfield, Ohio, is now being disputed by local officials, and Ohio's Republican governor, Mike DeWine, is backing them up.
This is something that came up on the internet, and the internet can be quite crazy sometimes. And look, the mayor, Mayor Rue of Springfield, says no, there's no truth in that. They have no evidence of that at all. So I think we go with what the mayor says. He knows his city.
So, Mike Dubke, I think I keep coming back to this question of, like, there are plenty of things that Republicans have to say about immigration that would 100% resonate with voters who say they trust Republicans more. Why this thing from the former president of the United States?
So I think immigration is the major issue that he should focus on. I wish he had talked more about immigration. I wish he had talked more about the 10 million that have already crossed the border that we know of. But on this, Donald Trump's an unconventional politician. We all know that. We all accept that. It's part of his allure. On this question, there are tens of thousands of migrants in Springfield, Ohio, that have overwhelmed the social services system. There is French Creole is the now almost the dominant language in the schools. There is this reaction by the citizens in that area against this heavy influx of migrants. I don't know why when when individuals are dispersed. But let me get to the point.
That. It's
but this is an unconventional way to bring that point up. Now, Ohio is not a state.
Unconventional is a very generous way to put it.
Ohio is not a state that is. It's going to go for Donald Trump. I wish there was a Springfield, Pennsylvania, or a Springfield, Michigan, where he was talking about this. But it is an unconventional way to bring it up. But there is this is true on the ground.
If you're serious,
on the ground issues.
If you're serious about getting control of this border situation, here are the things you have to talk about. You have to talk about revising asylum laws and international treaties, which bind the United States government. You have to talk about enforcing legal workplace status in the workplace, the way Mitt Romney did in 2012. And you have to talk about how you're going to find workers for American industry, because one of the reasons people are coming is this giant help wanted sign over the United States. But the reason Donald Trump, he's not an unconventional candidate. He is a candidate who is uninterested in solutions. He's interested in mobilizing fear and hatred and contempt. You know, the fallback position of J.D. Vance on the dog and cat story is, okay, maybe they're not killing people's dogs and cats, but some of these migrants are killing ducks and geese. So I remember in 2016 when Donald Trump was so proud of his endorsement by the Duck Dynasty people. They became famous by hunting ducks. That was good. But why is this bad?
I think one of the things that we fail to do is call a thing, right? Now that's first. And I love Mike Dupke because he's probably the smartest person I'm on TV with day in and day out.
That's very generous.
Did you just watch him struggle with that at 6:15 this morning? That's what we do. You got it in. I got it in. That's what we do in South Carolina. We just prop you up before we stab you in the back. But did you watch him just struggle with that? I'm wrapping up. I know, but I think that Donald Trump for a long period of time has used xenophobia and racism as political currency, and that's what this is. There's nothing more, nothing less. This isn't unconventional. This is who Donald Trump is.
That they're just regular people seems just outlandish and crazy and unnecessary.
I think, and you heard it in Vance's clip, I do think it's a legitimate conversation to have about the societal, public safety, health impacts anytime cities or communities get drastically changed because of our immigration system, whether that's in Springfield, whether that's on the border with Mexico, whether that's New York City, which has had issues. So I don't think that's an illegitimate conversation to have. Even in your answer, obviously you don't agree with where Trump is on it. You admitted there are health impacts and that there have been public safety impacts. Those are not illegitimate. Those are not illegitimate conversations to have. And I think people in communities all across this country are having them. Now, whether we have them responsibly or flippantly, or whether we have them seriously, is the real question.
Yesterday, when he said that, he wasn't being sarcastic, he wasn't being hyperbolic. He was amplifying a conspiracy theory that I think you would agree puts a target on the backs of Haitian immigrants, and that it is based on racism. Would you agree on that?
Anti-black racism would be more pointed.
Do you think that if there were 20,000 Scandinavians that had been sent to Springfield, people would be saying that they're eating cats and dogs and geese?
I'm not going to answer for him, for his memes or anything else. But I am.
But I'm asking you. Do you think that conspiracy is based on racism?
Because I'm not going to answer. I don't know.
That was a long pause, Scott. I mean,
because I don't know the answer, and I'm not going to sit here and answer for somebody. I don't talk to Donald Trump about what the motivations are, and I don't answer to you either.
But Scott, what is the answer for you?
But the bottom line is,
trying to give you a thoughtful answer.
But the bottom line is, immigration is a top 2 issue in this election. It must be discussed. And we're either going to go down a rabbit hole here, which is not the real issue, or we're going to talk about the real issues in which communities, cities, whatever, are dealing with real societal and policy impacts.
The reason we are going down the rabbit hole is because the man you support is making us go down that rabbit hole. The reason we're not talking about the legitimate issues you have brought up is because he is claiming, with no facts, that Haitian migrants are eating pets. And that is a dangerous conspiracy theory to be spreading to America. And you see, he gets away with saying crazy things at his rally. But when you're saying it to 70 million Americans, when you're saying it to normal people, then it sounds crazy. And there's a lot of people that can get triggered by the things that Donald Trump or people in power say. And it is irresponsible and it is dangerous, Scott, whether you want to admit it or not.
And I think here's the question. It is an issue. We do have issues to talk about. Who are the people going to choose moving forward?